inside, and it's insane.
So you've never been to a Collecticon or a card show before, but never fear, Air Camper's here. I'm going to help you save a lot of time and possibly a lot of money. I'm going to share with you today 3 tips that I use to land a card that I've wanted my entire collecting career. And I hope that I can do the same for you guys. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to have one bonus tip that no one talks about that could make your trip so much better. Alright, so let's get to it. Tip number 1, come with a game plan. If you show up without a plan, you are going to get wrecked. In my 9-to-5 job, I only focus on plans. And the one thing that I've learned is that if you don't have a plan, you're either going to waste a lot of time or you're going to waste a lot of money. It is so easy to overspend and get distracted when you're at a Collecticon or a card show. These places are huge. There are so many cards, so many people. If you have a plan, you're setting yourself up for success. So if you don't know where to start with the plan, I'll give you a very simple way to start it. Think about your end goal in mind. What I did was I had a goal of I needed to complete my 151 master set. I had a set amount of cards that I needed, so I went through my binder, I looked at all the cards, I wrote them down, and when I got in there, I knew exactly which cards I needed, so when I got to a table, I could easily reference the list that I created. And that gets me to my next point. If you're going to go through the trouble to figure out what cards you want, you might as well write them down. So don't forget, make your plan. But even with the plan, you can still be completely disoriented unless you do the next thing. Tip 2, do a full loop. Okay, quick story moment for me that relates to this tip. I was at the Collecticon, I walked around, I did a loop, but I didn't take mental notes of the prices. I was just walking around, just blindly looking at everything. I wanted to make a big deal so badly that I just jumped into one thinking that it was the best price, and I later found out I walked 2 tables down and they had the card for $15 less. So if I would have done a full loop and actually been keeping my eyes out for prices and taking mental notes, I could have saved myself some money. Another thing that people don't consider is how large this is. So to put this in perspective for you, I went to Collecticon. This is one of the largest collectible conventions in all of the United States and in all the world. There are over 9,000 tables there. And I did some math. That means that more than likely, there are over 1 million cards available to look through. So think about that. You have to go and find the best deal among millions of cards. That's tough. So make it easy on yourself. If you get there early enough, you can make 1 loop, 2, even 3 to get a good feel for the venue. So remember, loop first, buy later. So you have a plan, you have a good lay of the land. But if you don't follow this last tip, you could end up spending way more money than you intend. Tip number 3, research prices and screenshot everything. So before I even got to the show, when I figured out what my plan was and which cards I was targeting, I made sure that I knew what the price was in that time. If I were you, I would go to either eBay or TCG Player and pull up for the cards that you're looking for the last 3 to 5 sales and the associated prices. So you can use this as your market average. Why is this important? This is the data that you're going to use in negotiations with the vendors. So keep in mind, a lot of these vendors are vending at multiple shows and they don't always have time to price and reprice their cards. So they may have a price from a month ago on a card that hasn't sold since then, and in that time, the price could have dropped or raised a certain amount. And it's your job to go in there prepared so you know what you're talking about when you come in with an offer. So this gives you negotiating power without being a jerk. And the second part of this tip, screenshot everything. The reason I point this out is because more than likely, the cell service is not going to be great. I saw it many times while I was standing there looking at cards. I heard conversations of people not being able to pull up the most recent prices and they just had to go off memory, and that's not where you want to be. If you have a screenshot, you can show them, you have a reference of a date, and everything will be a lot smoother for you. Okay, I've been talking a lot. I want to give you guys an opportunity. If you have any tips that you've used that have been successful at Collecticons or card shows that you've been to, please share them in the comments. I would love to see it. I would love to see conversations in the comments as well. So feel free. And if you enjoyed the content so far, I would really appreciate it if you could give me a like or subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. I plan to do more in the future with Collecticons as well as just general collecting Pokemon. So thank you so much for taking time to watch my video. I really do appreciate it. So like I promised, there's one bonus tip. The last tip is start small to build momentum. Make a small deal first. It gets you over that mental hump of making a mistake. So pick a card that you're looking for that's less than $50 that you want to make a deal on, and make the deal. Once I made that first deal, I felt like I was in a rhythm. I was in a flow and I was able to walk up to vendors with confidence, make my offer, get a counter offer, and walk out of there feeling like I made a good deal on cards that I was looking for. So if you start small, I'm telling you, you won't regret it, and you'll feel a lot more comfortable moving forward for the rest of your day. I know this seems like a lot to do just for Pokemon cards or whatever cards you're looking for at a Collecticon, but I'm telling you, I'm pleading with you, if you just do just this little preparation before you go, you're going to have a great time, meet a lot of new people, see a ton of cards that you've never seen in your entire life, and walk out of there with all the cards that you were looking for. Collecticon was wild. I cannot wait to go to my next one. Hope to see you guys there. And don't forget, keep the fire alive. Peace out.